gentlemen, welcome to the Good Roads Podcast and welcome to your bulletin breakdown for June 15th, 2026. You know the rules, 3 news articles broken down in 5 minutes each. And here to break it down are our 2 Good Roads contributors, Andrew Blackburn and Thomas Barakat. Gentlemen, I got it right this week, didn't I?
Thank God, Jared.
That would be an unholy conglomeration, an Andrew Barakat, as it were. Oh, we're kicking this one off a little bit early this week. Mr. Thomas is out of town visiting municipalities around Ontario for the Good Roads board meetings. Where are we going? Where are we going this board meeting, Mr. Thomas?
We are going to a beautiful Chatham, Ontario, in the deep southwest of the province. So it'll be a first for me. So I'm very excited. I've never actually been to Chatham before. So I'm excited for it.
That sounds exciting. In case our members don't know, every year, one of our board meetings, the president gets to choose the location. It's usually their hometown. This year, Mr. Paul Ainsley, president of Good Roads and councillor of Toronto, has chosen Chatham. And I'm looking forward, Mr. Thomas, hearing all about it. Is there anything special going on when you get there? I know you guys get out to explore the municipality and everything like that.
Yeah. So first of all, So we are going to Chatham because councillor and Good Roads president Paul Ainsley, his in-laws are from Chatham, and he's spent a considerable amount of time there. And because we're normally in Toronto, we decided that would be a good place for us to kind of go. And it's good for us to kind of get out of the GTA, and we do like to do that, obviously, to see different communities. But that's why. And then the other thing is, the highlight, I think, for me, what I'm really looking forward to seeing is the Buxton National Historic Site and Museum, which is like a historic site that kind of shines light on or looks at the National Underground Railroad Network. This obviously has, there's a lot of interesting kind of, elements to that. And I'm looking forward to learning all about it.
That's fantastic. It sounds like a lot of fun. Unfortunately, Andrew and I are stuck back at the office, but we'll hold down the fort for you, sir.
Yeah. And then the other thing I'm looking forward to is having some Lake Erie perch and pickerel. So I'll let you guys know how that all is.
Terrific. All right. If we're ready, we can jump right into it today.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, let's start it off with article number 1. Red on right, not so fast in Waterloo region. Gentlemen, I have 5 minutes on the clock, and there will be a big red light when that alarm goes off, and we'll stop right there, okay?
Sure.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, let's go.
All right. So, the title kind of says it all. But essentially, Waterloo region is considering a pilot on banning the right turn on red at 12 intersections, and they're kind of spreading it out amongst the different communities. So there's 4 in Cambridge, 4 in Kitchener, and 4 in Waterloo. Now it's a proposal, or it's something that was brought forward by one of their committees. And it actually still needs council approval. So this is not something that's been approved yet, but it's something we've seen, and it's interesting for us to talk about it because it's something we have mentioned before, I believe, on the podcast, or at least in the bulletin. But a lot of our listeners and maybe our younger listeners, because maybe our older listeners, although I'm not sure how old you'd have to be at this point to be, maybe not that old. But to this guy, but prior to in the 1970s, there actually was no right turn on red.
Canada and the U.S. South Korea and some other smaller countries. They're really the only places where this is the default. And it all started in the 70s with the last oil crisis.
I was going to say, it is kind of an ironic time.
That what's kind of interesting what the responses are to that, because when they started in the 70s, the idea was that if you weren't waiting at a light and you needed to turn red, you're saving money on gas because the gas prices had skyrocketed. I'm assuming in $1970 it was 25 cents, and they're all going out of their minds or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But nowadays it's really funny reading that, knowing the history of that. And I'm seeing, I just saw a story, an American story last week saying that people are actually driving more right now because they're driving around looking for cheap gas. Just not a lot of thinking going on with this.
Right. But anyways, so this is the kind of historical context to why we even have it in the first place. Because before it was just normal. It's a red light. You do not go, right? But this is obviously not. Being able to turn right on red is not good for pedestrians or basically anybody outside of a car. So the reason why the Region of Waterloo is considering this is for road safety reasons. So I think like many people or many of our listeners, I drive, I walk, and I cycle. And I can tell you when I'm walking, people they're just kind of looking, they're kind of going through there. They're looking to see if any cars are coming.
Yeah.
And they just go. And as pedestrian, it's very
you're an Oakville native, and as somebody who commutes to Oakville and where the office is like I see these exact same drivers. They just do not look. I tried to look up some stats on this because it's like, it's a very specific thing. We all know that like the most dangerous place on the road for a pedestrian is an intersection, and the right on red is like a scenario where cars are infringing on like the pedestrian space when it's their turn to go. So it's just a recipe for disaster. But it's hard to get really like nailed down this the actual data, especially from the Canadian perspective. Like the city of Toronto, the Toronto Public Health did some analysis like a decade ago. It's like so even like prior to the distracted driving epidemic. So and they found that about an eighth of the pedestrian injuries in Toronto. This is just Toronto specifically. Toronto, about an eighth. I think it was like 13% were from right turns on red. I found some. There was. I was trying to look this up. There's a couple other references to some 2024 data that said it was about 9 or 10%. Whether or not like these are like precise numbers, and whether or not you can extrapolate these out to the rest of the province, it's a significant amount. It's like like an eighth to 10% is like this. In Toronto, that's like 1,300 people or more, given the numbers that I saw. So it's like it's not. Like I said, it's a main inflection point for cars to encroach on pedestrian spots. So and as I mentioned before, this like we're the only jurisdictions in the world where they don't do this in Europe. Europe, it is like it's the opposite. They only permit it where their sign actually says
it's by it's no right by no right
here
by.
It's the exact opposite. It's just like there's always the exceptions. No right turn on this street, so you have to be paying attention. And they don't pay attention. There's a no right turn street on a busy intersection right by my house, and I'm like I pass it. This is something I cross. I take my kid to daycare. I cross it back and forth, and every day I'm paying extreme attention. We went over, and you have something else to say to finish it up.
I was gonna say no. I have the exact same issue. Intersection right by my place. Almost get hit every single time. Flagged it with the city, and I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's one of those things where it's just like, you can yell at the driver as he's driving away, but he's probably not even noticing it.
No, I will say one little thing. The one I just mentioned, there actually is a no right turn on red sign, and it just everybody ignores it. That's why I have the issue. So, anyways,
exactly.
The signs are some areas are not going to.
Well, no, because it's like and that's the problem with the rule that we have, since it's the default kind of accepted rule. It's how everybody just expects everything to be. So they don't expect that sign to be there. They're not always paying attention. There's all the signs at every intersection. There's so many things to pay attention to, and then they add on their phone to that list of things that they're paying attention to.
All right. That's the red light there, gentlemen. No more right turns. We're going to end it right there. Good discussion about that. Important topic too. Very, very pertinent to safety. Let's move it on to topic number 2. Toronto hands off the gardener to the DVP. And the DVP, not to the DVP. Gentlemen, 5 minutes on the clock. We'll forget my faux pas there, and we'll just move on like it didn't happen.
All right.
We're going to get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Yeah, so this was something that the provincial government announced in 2023. So if it seems like old news, it kind of is. So yeah, there was a big announcement about this that the Gardner and the Don Valley Parkway are being transferred out. They nailed it down to fall of 2027. So this is kind of an interesting conversation about. It's kind of the opposite of what's usually been happening over the past 20 or 30 years. Usually things are being dropped down to the municipal level, but these are integral pathways in the province. They carry a lot of passengers or vehicles from outside the GTA. These are like the main avenues for everybody in the Greater Golden Horseshoe and anybody coming into Toronto from any other spot to there. So it's like these are very, very important arteries. So it makes sense from a strategic perspective to do this. So this was and they've been giving so as anybody who's driven in the in this area for the past year, they've also been giving Toronto a ton of money for the Gardner construction project, which has been ongoing for the last little bit, and they just finished ahead of time. So that's been a bit of a relief. So it sort of makes sense. It's like they've been injecting it in, and then making sure that everything's sort of the work is being done, and then they're making the transfer in the fall of next year.
Yeah, and that's really the news here is that it's actually happening, right? This is probably the most high profile kind of example of an asset being uploaded. And I know that when this had first happened, a lot of municipalities were thinking, is this the start of a widespread kind of uploading pattern that's going to start happening? I think a lot of municipalities, not that they're disappointed, but that's not what is happening. But I will say that the province actually ended up coming to a similar agreement with the city of Ottawa. Again, very similar. It's a pretty big highway that's used a lot by people outside of the city of Ottawa. And then other municipalities have been kind of trying their luck when it comes to this sort of stuff, when it comes to the uploading. And this is kind of this is the approach that the province has been taking. And I've been asked about this quite a few times by our members and directors, and like, hey, should we talk about, should we be advocating for like a mass upload of assets? But the province is taking an ad hoc approach to it. And I think the thing that what I would advise to our members to do, anyone who's thinking about doing this up or pitching an asset to be uploaded, is focus on a very specific asset that you want uploaded. That's number one. And then kind of you have to really make the case for why that asset needs to be uploaded. The biggest factor I would say is that this is an asset that's actually used by a lot of people from outside of the community, and so why is the community maintaining it itself? And you saw that's what happened with Toronto, that's what happened with Ottawa, and that's, I think there's a few other cases from some other municipalities too. Now there have been other situations where the province said, no, we're not gonna take ownership of the asset, but you know what? Here's a bunch of money to rehabilitate it because we know you can't afford to do it. Mm-hmm. So again, my advice would be to go in very targeted.
And I expect that's how a lot of these like mid-sized projects would probably end up doing. Like the province will recognize it's like, okay, we're not going to take this over, but we recognize its like importance for regional transit. So it's I can see that little injection.
And is it part of a larger kind of economic corridor as well? That'd be the other thing that
we've had a number of different conversations about this in the last couple of years, especially leading up to the last election, because like the NDP had proposed around then to upload all the connecting links, and it's just like, okay, that's an interesting sort of group of assets that would kind of qualify into this sort of thing. And then we've had broader conversations about uploading in general. Like some people were just saying, let's just make the province take back all of the King's highways, and I think that's an important conversation to have, because like a lot of people who work with MTO realize that like MTO is not the same as it was pre-amalgamation. Like they just don't have the capabilities to manage all of these highways. It's one of those things where it's just like people need to be approach it very, very realistically from an operational standpoint.
All right, that's 5 minutes, gentlemen. Excellent conversation. It'd be very good for municipalities to have a little bit of relief in that sense with tight budgets and such. But we'll move on to our third and final topic of the day: when the chips come up short. Gentlemen, we've got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so I'm going to preface this one to all our listeners just by saying Andrew and I we're not the technical side of good roads, and this is the technical. There's a very technical aspect to this which we will try not to botch, but Good Roads has been copied on a bunch of correspondence from I think at our now we're up to. I probably should have looked at this before coming into this, and I had this, but it actually keeps continuing up. But we've been copied on a bunch of resolutions from municipal councils. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're up to 9 now, and I assume there's more coming. But this was originally flagged by the municipality of northeastern Manitoulin and the islands. So they essentially have flagged that their chip and tar roads, which are also referred to as chip seal, just for those of you who are not aware. So these are kind of low volume type roads that are much more common in rural communities. And they used to hold up for about 5 to 7 years. Like that was kind of like the average lifespan of that asset in a sense. And now it's kind of falling down to 2 to 3 years. So it's almost kind of cutting the lifespan of this in half. So the leading theory that we've kind of, or this is what's kind of been flagged with us at this point, is that the shift to low VOC asphalt emulsions, I know it's a mouthful, but it's genuinely complicated. We've talked to some experts on this, both internally and externally, and we've heard, again, Andrew and I are not the technical people, but we've heard other factors such as curing time, weather windows, and the polarity match between aggregate and emulsion all play a role. So right now, and I'm not trying to say it's just anecdotal, but we've been hearing it from, like I said, we're up to 9 municipalities, to know that there's something going on. But we want to look into, we want to find the very specific kind of technical reason. So what we're doing, and I think our members will have seen this by now because this survey is going to be going up, but we're putting together a survey to figure out how widespread this issue is, and we're going to be, this is going to be out for the next few weeks. Where we're cutting it off at about July 3rd. But for everyone that's listening, please get your road super or your public works staff to fill this survey out. They'll be the ones who will know this stuff best. And for us, for Andrew and I kind of approaches is, before we start going to the various, is this a ministry, whichever ministry this would be, whether it's provincial or it could be federal as well. But we need to know the facts. We need to know the hard evidence before we can kind of go and ask for something to be amended or.
Yeah, because we've been in our conversations, we've been hearing a lot of different theories. Like straight from Manitoulin, they're saying it's it must be the emulsion, and is this there's all these questions about, is this a federal standard? That we heard something similar about it reminded me of the road paint issues, where the actual federal standards had affected the longevity of the road paint, and a lot of road paint was being faded. It's is this a similar sort of scenario to that? And then when we talked to the engineers, there's so many different factors. So especially considering the periods that this work can actually be done is so narrow in a lot of these northern communities. It's like, are people pushing these boundaries? So we really want to hear from anybody who uses the chip seal. Even if you haven't noticed any degradation whatsoever, then premature degradation, then please fill out the survey anyway. Just, it would be good from a data standpoint.
Yeah, because we really need to know if it's happening or not. Because we don't know what exactly the factor is. We have a hunch, and I guess the other thing I'll mention is I know some of our members had actually asked industry about this, and I believe it was at our conference. And industry said, no, this is not the reason. Now, I mean, obviously, we don't know. No one's going to really. Well, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, we need to know more. So we are looking into it. I think for us, it's just we want to let our members know we hear you, we see you, and we're looking into it and seeing what we can do to kind of help resolve this. Whether it's a legislative thing, a regulatory thing, or maybe it's even just updating best practices in terms of how to actually lay out these roads.
Exactly. And from an advocacy standpoint, we need to know from our perspective, like, who do we need to be talking to? What do we need to be asking for? Very specifically, that when it comes down to it, when we're speaking to government forces, like if that's who needs to do something, we need to be very, very specific on the action that needs to happen. So the more information that people can provide, the better.
All right. Terrific, boys. Good Roads advocating on your behalf. Mr. Thomas, the e-blast actually went out 3 minutes ago, so
and I should say, so keep an eye on your inbox. And if anybody listening does not have that in their inbox, then please reach out to us, and we will make sure that it does, and we can add you to the right lists for our mailouts, etc.
Terrific, yeah, and that's excellent work. So. That's our 3 topics for the day, gentlemen. Let's move on to something fun. Mr. Andrew, I think you're going to be the fun guy today.
Woohoo, so fun, right? Anyway, as our listeners should most likely be aware, it is municipal election season. And we saw a story. It kind of reminded me of those American stories. I don't know if this happens in Canada as much, but you remember hearing those stories where it's just all like, and Ginger the dog is running for mayor in Podunk, California. It's like all these joke candidates.
Not only running but winning.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like the laws in a lot of these little counties are just so loosey goosey that just like any entity could be mayor. And for this purpose, purposes of this story, it's probably good that we do have rules in place. The town of Aurelia. There's some guys there who have invented an AI mayoral candidate called Ori. So not legally running for mayor, but they have built an AI candidate. They've been this is one of those things where it's just like, how aware are our listeners of how these AI chatbots work? But
right.
When we looked this up, as Thomas and I use a lot of different AI tools for various things, and of course it's Claude. So I don't know if that makes any sense to a lot of people. Claude is the AI, the power behind Ori, the mayoral candidate, and these guys have fed Ori through Claude. They've fed it like all the municipal documents.
Yeah. So Andrew, 9,000 public documents.
9,000 public documents, which from an AI perspective, that could be a lot more. But it's kind of interesting. Like so they've been asking it all these questions, and then they've actually been getting good results, and they've been showing it to people, and people are like, oh, okay, all right, people have been surprised. It's like, okay, these are better answers than I thought. I think a lot of people are being all like, do we want an AI mayor? Would it be better than some of the
I'd like to see? I'd love to see them, even though they're not going to elect this thing, I'd like to see them run it for the entire term and just see how its decision stacks up to whoever wins it.
Yeah. The thing is like, they were talking about how they haven't been giving it any, like they're not putting any of their ideas in it. They're not giving them any, like, I feel like the way they've built it, it's been trying to be non-ideological, but
and take the biases out, right?
Yeah, but also just like as people who interact with AI chatbots, is like, have they given this thing a personality? You know what I mean? Like what's this mayor going to be? And then there's like, from what it gets in these documents, what I want to know is like, is it going to get like, is it going to develop its own ideology from even just like within these documents? Like, are they all 100% impartial? Are they being,
as long as these documents aren't sourced from Reddit, I'm sure we're fine.
Yeah, or Grok. Yeah, actually, maybe we should create a rival AI candidate using Grok.
ChatGPT. Oh God.
Yeah, no, we'll have all three. We'll have a ChatGPT, a Claude, and a Grok candidate, and the Grok candidate will be like
Gemini too.
Exactly. And I don't know what the demographics are about in Aurelia, but I hope
an AI council then, wouldn't it?
No, exactly. What would a Grok mayor end up doing? It's a little.
The one thing I'm worried about on this podcast, Andy.
I mean, if you've watched any like robot movies and AI movies, you always wonder how the AI would work with human interaction. Like it just comes to me like what was that called? iRobot with Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
The whole premise of that movie is that the robot thought he had a better chance of surviving, so it pulled him out of a car instead of the little girl, and the little girl ended up dying. So how does it take the human factor into the decisions that it makes?
I haven't seen iRobot. I feel like there's interesting conversation with that, like related to like AVs. So
yeah, that too, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
well, it's the whole trolley, trolley.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a trolley problem adjacent kind of plot. But hey, we'll see how this turns out. It'll be interesting if they deploy this AI candidate a little closer to election season, and to what effect. So we'll be watching if they do so.
Yeah, it's we'll see. It's fun now. Hopefully the AI mayors don't take over in the future, and then
no, exactly, yeah,
because they can't attend our conference. So
well, they could virtually if we had that.
Well, hey man, it's only a matter of time before they start putting the AI chatbots into literal robots, and like these.
It's all fun and games until Skynet happens.
Exactly, the delivery robots will be first. They'll all start getting they'll put personalities in there as they start driving around the streets delivering pizzas, and they'll be like, "Hey, watch it," and stuff like that.
Hey, I'm driving here. All right, let's wrap that up for the day, gentlemen. Excellent conversation. That was actually really fun. I had fun with the AI mayor talk there. Mr. Thomas, have fun in Chatham. We look forward to seeing you on Monday when this goes out. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Road Safety School is happening this fall. Get out to goodroads.ca/road safety school. See how you can make your community safer. Snow school. It's never too early to look into winter maintenance and how that can help you. The best time to learn about winter maintenance is just after the end of the last snowfall. So get ahead of the game. I know it's summer now. I know you're not thinking about it. I know you don't want to hear snow. But now is the best time to get out there and get your winter maintenance planning started. So goodroads.ca/education. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions, leave them for us on YouTube comments or Spotify if there are comments there. And until next time, everybody, take it easy.